while Lakshmi and Shiva is here, is of course Lakshmi is from Deloitte and Shiva is from Decathlon, the two Ds. And what we will be talking about and ensuring is that for all the founders here, how many founders in the room right now on the left, right, center, everyone? Fantastic. The promise that they've given is that they will explain to you in terms of what could be the potential roadmap and how can you all actually figure out ways to collaborate and work with them, not just from the Deloitte or Decathlon point of view, because both of them are extremely experienced and expertise they have. Like if you're approaching a corporate or you want to get some POCs, how can you do it? That's what the context is all going to be about. So without wasting any more time, 19 minutes, 5 seconds we have got, sir. So Lakshmi, I will start with you. You have got a lot of experience. She's worked with Wipro. She is now, of course, working with Deloitte. And she's got an EY before that. So if you have to talk to those phenomenal founders that we have here, as a roadmap, as a thought process, what should they be doing and planning so that they can work with large corporates and make lots and lots and lots of money?
Okay, first of all, hello everyone, good evening. So we cannot start a session in Kerala without saying Ellarkku Namaskaram and welcoming Vijayta and Shiva to my hometown. All right?
Thank you, Lakshmi.
So fantastic to be here, and I've been associated with KSUM for the past probably 5 years or so. So as he said, rightly said, currently I'm a director with Deloitte's Center for Innovation and Technology. Prior to that, I was running the innovation lab for Wipro based out of Bangalore. So in my 20 plus years of career, for the past 5 years, I've been focusing in the space of innovation. And I've been fortunate enough to interact with many startups in India as well as in the US. So I think in corporates, when we put across an innovation lab, just like how Krish Anurag was saying in his previous session, about why should we invest in your product? Similarly, inside corporate, my CFO has asked me, why should we set up an innovation lab, a physical space in some of the big cities in the world? Why should we invest, right? So each and every square feet in our lab is precious. And when we invite a startup to integrate with us, the things that we look for is number one, how mature are they in their operations? So in the lab, we create an integrated journey for the clients who visit the lab. So if you want to give the numbers, like in an year, we get around 350 to 400 companies who come to our lab. And the people who visit from these companies are CXOs or CXO -1. So for the startups who are part of the lab, get an excellent opportunity to interact with the decision makers of these companies and from all across the industries and sectors. So one is operational maturity. So if a client walks in, they love your product, will you be able to run multiple POCs for different clients across industries and sectors? The second thing is that how good are you with your integration with an existing corporate? You need to understand that corporates are not as agile and as risk averse or as bold like a startup, right? So you need to understand the culture a little bit and how easily you can integrate with the corporate. And the third, the most important point is that more than a technology, what we look in corporates is the problems that you're solving, how well you are aligned with the industry. So I'll go with these three things, the readiness, maturity, and the industry alignment.
It is in Bangalore, so maybe you should also tell them where it is.
Oh, well, the Deloitte Center for Innovation and Technology is in Bangalore. It is in the Palace High Grounds. And the previous lab which I was running for Wipro, that was also in Bangalore.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lakshmi. 16 minutes to go. Shiva, over to you. Decathlon. Customer experience, retail, supply chain. There's so much that you're doing with startups. Tell us more.
Thanks, Kerala Startup Mission, to give this opportunity to share my thoughts to the founders and the aspirants. It's very important to understand the real problem statement, what we are trying to solve. A purpose-driven innovation makes sense, right? If you have something to solve to the customer, then you are on the edge. Then you need corporates, right? Corporates also are first users for your solution. What you are trying to do is something like you are foolproofing yourself you have generated your idea. You are reaching with an open mind to the corporate and telling that, yes, I have this ability. I saw there is a problem in your ecosystem. Can I try solve it? Why not? It's a win-win situation for both the people. If I can give a platform to you and you solve it and it makes sense, I have 66 country operations. The same solution goes in all the 66 countries. Possibly. We have done it in the past and future. We are expecting more startups to give solutions like that to make it really possible. That means you are signing, you are reducing your mortality rate. That means winning success criteria, you are winning it when you collaborate with startup. That is what the startups will get when they collaborate with startup, with corporate.
Yeah.
So purpose driven is the main objective you need to find out. And the problem what you are trying to solve, what is the objective, what is the key metrics, you need to make sure that is all documented clearly. How, when you will call your project is success. That's very simple, straightforward statement you need to interact with the corporate when you discuss. When you have this documented, it will be very easy for the corporate to take decision to go to the next step of scale up. That's it.
Thank you, Shiva.
What do you say, Jita?
Perfect. So thank you so much. And since I've been interacting with Lakshmi and Shiva quite a bit, they're nice people, they're approachable. So I think you all should take a full leverage of that. So see, some of the things that we would love to get in the perspective, because we have 13 minutes, 30 seconds left. The future, right? Because it's not just about today, but if you say 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, even maybe 5 years, what are the technologies, what are the trends that you see? I would like to get that perspective from both of you. Please.
Yeah, I mean, the first answer is obviously what? Any guesses? Of course. But then I would say that rather than calling the companies as an AI company, it would be more like an industry leader enabled by AI. So what I'm trying to say is that AI in any particular deep industry focused, domain focused. But from a trend perspective, since you asked that question, I see specifically how we can use AI in operational efficiency or intelligent decision making is a theme that has been emerging from a lab perspective, because we host a lot of clients. A lot of them ask AI specifically in how can we use that for decision making faster, how can I bring more efficiency. And the other area, in no particular order, and this is my personal point of view, is in terms of the immersive technologies. Immersive technologies has been there for a very long time, like you are familiar with all mixed realities, AR, VRs, and things like that. But now what I see as a trend is that how that is again clubbed with AI, and domain expertise. For example, like if you have used AR to kind of scan through the components of some engine, okay, and how now you can interact with that. Now you have an AR or a VR version of it. How can you interact with that immersive experiences using probably a small language model, having deep expertise in the domain, maybe having a conversational bot. These kind of merging of multiple technologies is another trend that we see. Then another one is the hyper-personalization and digitalization and business disruption of a lot of firms. And I cannot name many firms, but in India, there are many business models which are getting disrupted and getting into the digital version. Now, when you say digital version, it is not just a digital version which is intelligent in terms of decision making, immersive in terms of experience, as well as augmented with these kind of immersive technologies or AI. Of that kind, these are some of the themes that we see, and hyper personalization. Like on one side, we say that I don't want to give out my data. I was telling that to Shiva, we're protecting my data and other things. Of course, that is very, very important, especially in certain regulatory environments. But on the other side, as a consumer, we expect a lot of hyper personalization, right? So hyper personalization, AI-based decision making, and AI-based operational efficiency improvement, as well as immersive technologies, are some of the themes out of a lot, which we see as, where the market is also evolving. I'm talking about the technology evolvement as well as the market evolvement.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lakshmi. Shiva, over to you.
She covered most of the trending element. What she missed out, I will cover it so that we can save the time.
How dare you?
How could you miss out, Lakshmi? This is terrible. Shiva,
I told
educate us. We'll take this, the fight will take offline.
This
but
is
continue.
staged, guys.
See, that is what the key element is. We may not be knowing everything everywhere, right? Some things miss out from the leader's eyes also. Something what I'm from a retail background, right? What customer wants. First of all, we need to hear the voice of the customer. If that is done, then the first step is taken care. The second thing, the trending element is something on the sustainability side. Even if you hike the price and tell this is sustainable, and you are giving back to the nation in a positive way, because we don't have any planet B. This is our planet, this is our playground, we have to safeguard it. What is the step you can take? Put the question to the customer. This is kind of trending, and also lot of players needs to be there to solve together. One example of problem I can say, most of the packaging companies are facing, they are saturated on MLP, multi-layered plastic. How I'm going to give, maybe I can tell one Maggie packet. It's a multi-layered plastic. How I'm going to sell it if government bans that multi-layered plastic? Just imagine, we want some startup to come up with a solution to break the plastic into multiple level, and so responsibly we need to dispose it. The same problem can happen anywhere. Multiple other problems also exist. Just think about it. How can we be a sustainable, responsible company so that we protect our country and we give the country in a clean country for our generation together? This is one trend. I hope you will accept it.
Lakshmi, you can
Good,
forgive him.
good job, Shiva. Good job. I congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. So now we have 8 minutes, 25 seconds left. So what I would like to, bring into the context here, Lakshmi and Shiva, see, we're talking about being together, right? What we mean by that is there are big problems. There's a lot of money to be made maybe, but at the same time, maybe one startup can't solve it. But how can the collaboration happen, and what happens to IP? How do you all treat it? Obviously, it'll be different treatment, but can you throw some light on that, if you don't mind?
I won't be able to throw a lot of light on that because I cannot probably divulge. I come from a specific
secret.
background. So, but I can tell you from my experience across various corporates in the innovation space. So each corporate has different the startup collaboration strategy. There are certain organizations which I have worked in the past where they look specifically for early stage startups and help them in incubating and grooming. I myself was part of such initiatives. And there are corporates, they look specifically for matured startups, especially when they want to put them in front of the clients. That's because we are part of some kind of a hot sales cycle, and the startup is part of their entire curated journey. So I'll just give you a little bit of background. So what happens in an innovation lab is that when the client walks in, they are not going to see you as separately versus me separately, versus any big technology that is available in the lab. When they walk in, they are going to see how their problem is getting solved. So if I'm talking about, say, somebody wants to create a smart manufacturing, or they're looking at creating a smart manufacturing unit, they walk into the lab, they are going to see how maybe some of the digital twins are working, how in production twin is working, how some of the alerts are being captured by sensors, how the entire alert can be seen on a sensor, how everything is connected through a private 5G. I'm just telling some technologies which enable this entire ecosystem. Some AGVs are running around and all that. But when the client comes in, they are not going to see, okay, this is sponsored by a big tech company, this is coming from this particular corporate, this is coming from a startup. So the journey is end-to-end and stitched together. Now, in that case, we cannot have some startup who's in the very early stage to come and scale up in terms of the operational maturity to be part of the journey. So that is why probably certain corporates look for matured startups. And certain corporates, I cannot name them, they are not looking at probably helping incubating a startup immediately, but they also look for startup if they are not able to solve problem in their client's business process areas. At that time, the corporate will have an initiative to come hunt down the startups, and we have a huge database of that, and the process is also set. The reason why that is being done, because you don't have that kind of the precious time and luxury to onboard a startup and then give solution for the client, because that is why we have the stark difference, because I come from a consulting background, he is from the product place. So we are on some large deals, and we have maybe like 6 hours with the CXO of the client, and in that duration we need to convince them and sell it. So we will not be able to take any risk with respect to having that.
Totally fair,
time.
totally fair. We understand that point of view. Shiva?
Yeah. We follow a 4-quadrant strategy. Very simple. If I know the problem, I know the solution. So it is not an innovation, it's a sustaining innovation. I need somebody to put out the fire immediately, what is burning in my farm. So for that, I will be looking for a proven startup, or a startup with a solution or a mid-level. That's a startup, or a SME. Even if an SME, I can bring it to solve it. Next category is I know the problem, I don't have the solution, so it's going to be an open innovation. I go to the startup, early, mid, doesn't matter. I go to the startup, listen to them, understand what they are trying to solve. Will that fit my bill? First thing. Next, will that solve my problem? Second thing. Can I try it? If they are open, we will try it. If the result says yes, it's scalable, then we bombard them with our requirement and we make sure that they reach it. We have success stories too. To small startup, 2018 we elevated them, and now the startup has gone viral. They are working in all of our countries. The same startup, same ideology, and they are working on the sustainable area. And the same in the next quadrant is probably some of the startups from Deloitte might come to us and say, I have a problem, I have a solution for your problem, can I test it? Okay, then there is two options open. Either the solution has to save cost or it should increase my efficiency. Simple. If that happens, then it's called disruptive innovation. We will work on that. Then the fourth strategy also we will work. We don't know the problem, we don't know the solution. That goes into the R&D. We go to the universities, we go to Kerala Startup Mission, we go to multiple accelerator to see what is coming next. How can I make our business foolproof? Can I go into the future with the current technology, or some adjustment has to be done? Maybe Deloitte can help us in future.
He's calling out my company's name multiple times. Please forget about it.
Yes. See, that's how we support each other. We have to support each other. Because I can say one of the future trend, what is happening is corporate problem cannot be solved by one single startup. Multiple startups together, combining their solution together can solve it. We have seen some example today. One startup came up to pitch a solution to me. Another startup also has come. When I combine these two, I can get a beautiful business outcome. If those startups together, they would have done it, I would have got a solution much earlier, and the scale-up would have done much earlier. Startups has to look around what the other startups are working, how can you complement each other. This is what the critical things, what startup founders are missing. Maybe in future, multiple model way you need to think of. That is also a beautiful way of operating with corporates to support each other.
Just wanted to add one point. That's exactly where the corporates come into the picture, because we bring in that kind of experience in the domain and across sectors. And other thing is in terms of the governance. Sometimes we will be able to see the bigger picture because of the experience that we are having in various industries. And like you mentioned, we can connect multiple startups and kind of help them and guide them where they need to go to. And sometimes, very rare cases may probably pivot as well, along with us. So the things that the corporate brings in this entire ecosystem is the domain expertise, the entire governance on how they can see it, and about how to work in regulated environments and make it a little bit more risk-averse and sustainable for a very long time.
Perfect. I think both of you also spoke about why founders must be doing a lot of research work, and they should be very agile, because the problem statements, the requirements could change, but you should be able to tackle it, right?
Yeah. So in my past experiences, whenever I have interacted with founders, I'm a big blind believer of design thinking approach. Going back to what he said, just don't rush into any kind of solutions. Let's not look into any particular technology enabled. Even in corporates, we're not looking technology first. We are looking at what is a problem. Is there a problem? Do we understand the problem really well? We spend a lot of time in doing research, primary research, secondary research, benchmarking, and then we look at what is it available, viable technologies, which can probably bring the solutions and stitch it together and create a use case which is, end-to-end, not for particular point solutions. So that is an important aspect for our entire innovation journey. And then only we start even thinking about building a solution. Now, when you do that study, and that is when the wow moment happens, and ideally that will happen if you have done that very thorough study, is, oh, I thought this is a problem. Oh no, there is another big problem that I need to solve. So that realization is where the journey itself starts. If you start doing the other way, oh, I'm very cool with this thing and I'm going to build this. Now let me, push the doors of all my VCs and everyone saying, please invest in my solution. That doesn't work, because why would someone want it, right? Unless otherwise it is something which falls in the disruptive criteria where you don't have a user base already. We all know the story of Facebook, right? I'm not saying just not Facebook, but many other things where it falls in disruptive criteria where you have to build that entire case, people, data.
Of course, Lakshmi, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So perfect. We are now on 0. But if you'd like to give a very short, crisp closing remark, something that will be of value to the founders in the room and also the investors who have great portfolio companies, both of you. But remember, we are running out of time technically. So please go ahead. Shiva?
There are 4 quadrants what I explained to you. Whichever quadrant you are in, doesn't matter. If you have an idea which can give a meaningful purpose or a meaningful solution to the customer to increase their satisfaction, please reach out to me or through the program what we run. Always there is a space to explore. There is no boundary at all. Beyond that, we can guide you with the right mentors inside and outside and through the network what we have that helps you to reach your goal. That's very important, right? Why you are spending, it's a courageous step what you guys are taking, right? I really appreciate all the founders who has taken the step forward because we couldn't do that at the early stage. Now we are in the position to help them, help these founders and startup owners and entrepreneurs and young aspirants. Take that moment. Use Kerala Startup Mission for all the initial steps, research, validation, and then we are there to support you with whatever we could do. Thank you for the time and opportunity.
Thank you, Shiva. Thank you so much. Lakshmi, ma'am?
Yeah. So I would say that fall in love with the problem and date the solution. Try to stay with the problem for some longer time. It is going to benefit you, okay? So this is what my mantra is. Fall in love with the problem and date the solution. That's it.
That's amazing. Thank you to both of them. And please, a round of applause for this really incredible insights in a short time that we had. But ladies and gentlemen, don't leave the room because there's going to be a product launch from some great founders. Just a quick shout out, buddy, go for it. And there's going to be some entertainment. So the Kerala Startup Mission guys are having your back. Thank you, ma'am.